Hello, it's Friday. It's almost the last day here at TIMTOS 2025. We are live from, can you guess? Taipei, Taiwan. We've done hall 1, hall 2, 0th floor, 4th floor, 4th floor, and now where are we? We are at the TWTC, that's the Taiwan World Trade Center. And where are we near? One of the biggest towers in the world. How amazing does that look? So I know my cameraman didn't really want to do much shooting outside because it's a nightmare trying to go from outside to inside. So the lighting might change a little bit as we walk in, but that doesn't matter. What an amazing view that is. We've been staring at the 101 for the past couple of days. I'm so glad you guys get to now as well. And what's coming up today in the live stream is going to be really interesting. So we did mostly quite a lot of CNC machinery. We did, what did we do yesterday? Quite a lot of measurement and instrumentation, control systems. We went upstairs to hall 2 where there was a copper casting company and there were lots of work holding and tooling. Here we're going to do, again, a little bit of tooling. We're going to go see a company that has 8 factories, 2 here in Taiwan, 6 in China. We're going to producing carbide, refining carbide. We're going to look at some really interesting sheet metal fabrication machinery as well. So we've got a huge amount of stuff to go and have a look at in this hall here, which is the last hall to go and see. Should we see if the guy's going to let us in here? No, okay, we won't. So you have to go in and scan in as expected. We were allowed out of there to go and have a look at this tower and start the live stream, but we're going to have to go in through the main stage. So I'm going to let Elliot walk forward this time and move around this way. There we go. It might be a little bit easier for him. We can move a bit quicker now. Because you guys don't want to see, you want to see the 101 tower maybe, but you don't want to see the trade center, just the outside bit. Yeah, I think this was built a few years ago, this building. So most of the time when we've been filming the past week, we've been, oh, thank you guys, hello. We've been in the Nangang Exhibition Center, which is about a 20-minute drive east of the central Taipei, which is where we are now. We're kind of like half downtown. This is kind of the Xinyi district, which is quite a posh neighborhood. Lots of kind of cool bars, apparently, and lots of kind of posh hotels as well. So this is a nicer part of town, central Taipei. So yeah, today we're going to go through lots of different machinery, CNC kind of press brake, laser cutting, tube bending, some automation, some really interesting stuff. We've got a demo from a guy called Jacko, hopefully coming up soon, showing us making weld outlets in tubing, which should be really cool as well. So we'll just sign in now. Ni hao, xie xie, thank you very much. Hey, and we managed to get Elliot scanned in this time. Fantastic. He's not here as a fugitive. So walking into this hall, one thing you notice, it's just as big as every other hall. So we've had 4 other halls just as big as this one. And we came in here first Tuesday when they had a keynote speech where the chairman or the president of THK was giving us a talk. And another guy, CEO of a robotics company, was giving a talk as well. And this is where the cutting tools are. We've not seen much cutting tools so far. We saw a couple yesterday, but we've got so many cutting tool companies here. Some from Taiwan, quite a few also from, Japan, Europe, quite a lot of the usual suspects. So we have Kyocera around the corner there, behind there. We've also got a joint venture here, one half of which you'll probably know quite well on the MTD CNC channel. That's Ceratizit. Now, they're a European cutting tool supplier and manufacturer, but this is the CB Ceratizit group. Now, these guys are a joint venture between a company called CB, which is a Taiwanese company, and Ceratizit, who are well known. Hello guys, how you doing? Well known in Europe. So Ceratizit offering cutting tools, and CB are refining carbide. They've got 6 factories in China and 2 factories in Taiwan. So they're taking raw carbide powder, they're sintering it, they're compressing it, they're sometimes machining it in its green state before sintering, and they're producing loads of mold tooling, press tooling as well, and they're supporting the EV battery industry, amongst others. Xinyi Industrials, these guys make loads of different stuff. I think they deal in quite a lot of turret tooling, in quite a lot of lathe tooling as well. They're doing a demo on a DMG Mori NLX 2500 over there, and this is loads of angle heads here. They said that if there was one product they were going to focus on, it was a double static tool on a lathe here, which is this thing here, which this is from Titech. And this is really useful if you've got a Y-axis on your lathe, then you can not only, you get an extra tool out of one tool pot. So you've got a Y-axis, you can move the Y, I guess, in maybe plus 25, plus 20 mil. You can maybe do a bit of roughing, and then you go minus 20 mil on Y, you can do a little bit of finishing here. So a really nice tool if you're trying to save tool spaces and do more complex components on your machinery. Again, I'm going to try and save Elliot from walking backwards too much here and move around. So that's Xinyan Industrial, they're mostly dealers of different kinds of components. There's also lots of Taiwanese manufacturers here as well. So when we talk about the carbide, hello guys, thank you. When we talk about the carbide that's produced at CB Ceratizit Group, you need to machine it. If you're going to machine hard carbide, you're going to need diamond grinding wheels, lots of PCD tooling, which we can see here. I can't talk much about this because I couldn't find the person who was actually going to be behind this stand, unfortunately, but that's an example of how you'd machine that carbide, or grind it at least. I also talked to Tom here, who's told me about these guys. So Itsai are going to be at EMO as well here at TIMTOS 2025. They're going to be in EMO in September. They've got a massive circular saw here with some carbide tips. Circular saws, if you don't know, I guess at home you guys might use a lot of band saws to cut your material, cut your billets. Circular saws are so much quicker. They might be a little bit more limited in terms of the diameters they can cut based on the machine, but circular saws are really efficient in cutting those steels, those stainless steels. We talked a little bit about titanium. It's a little bit harder to cut titanium in Inconel with a circular saw, but it's doable. And also there's quite a lot of interesting kind of woodworking, really heavy duty woodworking tooling here for industry, such as planing on the right here. So if I come down around these beautiful orchids, you got some beautiful flowers here, Tom. Planing tools. Also, this looks like something out of a horror film. We've got some a finger joint tool as well, right? Again, this is for the wood industry. So we don't see that much of this at MTD CNC because we're mostly working in metal working, but there's obviously a huge amount of timber work that's required around the world. I guess for construction mostly, and probably various other industries. So yeah, we'll see you guys at EMO, right? Yep. Brilliant. Thank you, Tom. Brilliant. So we've been around the show a little bit earlier to try and prepare and talk to a couple of people. I'm going to go fast forward now. Unfortunately, there's loads of tool holder manufacturers, loads of cutting tool manufacturers here. We can't talk about everyone, unfortunately. We've got some static boring bars, loads of different things. If you have a little pan around, Elliot, have a look at a few products while we're walking through. People don't just want to see my face. But like I say, we can't talk about everything here, unfortunately. We can't go and prepare, even though we would love to bring you as many of these customers as potential customers as possible, these manufacturers from Taiwan and abroad. We can't show you absolutely everything, regardless of how, even though it might be quite interesting. What we're instead going to bring you to is, trying to get my bearings here. Oh, we've come up not exactly where I was expecting. We're going to have to go a little bit back to front here. We're going through the louder part of the show. I hope you can still hear me. This is where we've got loads of demos happening of automated tube laser machinery. So if you have a look at that, that's a tube laser. Try not to stare at it too much with your eyes, Elliot. Tube laser machinery. And what I find interesting, I kind of love it. I'm not sure how safe it is. But what I find really interesting in Taiwan is there's not much guarding. In this country, you can see right up and close what's happening in the machinery without the weld screen. And you could, if you didn't know what you're doing, you could be looking directly at that weld, and maybe your eyes wouldn't feel so good afterwards. But you can see demos up front and look at the machinery running with just like a little barrier here. So we've got loads of tube bending equipment, which I've seen maybe a couple of these in the UK, but these are a big business if you're doing lots of tube machinery. So let's keep going. We've got a demo to show loads of really interesting components over there a little bit later. But we've got a demo here with Jacko as well. Hello, how you doing, ni hao? We've also got a really interesting machine brand called Soko Machinery Company. I was talking to Joseph earlier. He's telling me about their machinery and their process. So they've got loading. They offer loading machines for bars, tube laser machines, just like we've just seen, and also transfer stations, load of automation, loads of tube bending. And one thing, I asked Joseph if he was to explain one thing to me about what he thinks makes their company different. Hello, how you doing? He showed me this demonstration. So he explained that when you cut a tube, I'll put this thing down, try not to damage it. Like yesterday, I knocked over a gear hobbing tool, which wasn't very good. When you're lasering this tube, so you've got you're laser cutting just this circular hole here. When you're holding it horizontally, and you're tube lasering it from the top, as soon as you turn it round to do the other side, the tube can start here, you'll laser it slightly off center, then as you turn it round, it'll move and it'll go off center again, and you'll laser it on this side. And when that happens, what it means is if you want to put a pin through, for example, or, well, this is an example to show you how accurate the tube cutting is. You can put, because of how accurate, the way they clamp this tube, when they turn it over, they keep it more on center when they cut each side of these circular holes. So as a result, with these straight off the machine, you can put these really precise dowel pins that have come out of a drilled and reamed plate at the back they've machined here. And that shows actually how accurate those holes are. It's a really, really nice fit. Well, I guess it would be if you've got all these pins in it. But it's a really, really nice fit, and that's just from the accuracy of the really special, unique way that SOCO machinery can clamp the tubing on their tube lasers. So they've got some robot loading, all loads of stuff like that. Unfortunately, they have a barrier that's trying to block people like me coming in. But Joseph put this here for me very kindly, so I'll put this back. Share, Joseph, thank you very much. Loads of machinery back there as well, showing robot automated tube bending. Really interesting company, so check them out. Yeah, you can see it just back here. So let's have a little look since we're here anyway. And this robot is loading the tubes in and into the tube loading machine, and it's yeah, really, really nice demo. And what I like about the fact they've got a single-seater roadster here to show off the tube bending, because that's a really interesting application for tube bending, is automotive. Now, this kind of stuff used in chairs, used in lots of furniture, lots of construction. Also, in terms of kind of outlets and airflow, we've got gas, maybe more high-pressure gas tubing here. In all kinds of machinery, big compressors, ships, marine, submarine. But I love the application to automotive as well. We've got roll cages that will be tube bent as well. Really interesting. Rather than being maybe like a one-off car like this might be tube bent by hand. Actually, most of this looks like it's carbon fiber laid up tube. But quite like single-seater stuff like this will be done by hand. But a more kind of, I guess, production road car, you'd find a lot of tube bending done on an automated system like this. That's really interesting from SOCO Machinery. And thank you to Joseph for letting us talk about their product and ask him a little bit about what makes them unique. Another piece of machinery here. So this is from Shaoxing Machinery. Hello, how you doing? So this is what I was told by a man called Dennis from Shaoxing CSA. He said this is one of the bigger tube benders you can find in Taiwan. They're all built in Taiwan with full Taiwanese components. One thing is the size of the machine here. Is the length is huge, but the biggest they can do here is 360 millimeters in diameter, which is absolutely huge. Here they're showing quite a lot of RSJs, so that's good for construction. And what I find quite interesting about the tube laser application to RSJ, see the angled cuts they can do here, 45 degrees for welding and square bar, even kind of some thin rings they're cutting here, which is quite an interesting thing. I don't know what you might use a tiny ring for. I guess you wouldn't be making bearing races or anything. But yeah, really interesting cuts in the tube, which we saw another application, another machine like this in a hall one on the first day on Monday, which had literally moving like a 5-axis circular saw, trying to do similar things. Don't know what the trade-offs are maybe with those different kinds of machinery, but really nice to see a huge machine here. And they were really proud. They said it was the only machine, but I don't know. It's probably one of the only machines that can go that big, 360 millimeters in tube size with an all Taiwanese made machine. So really interesting. Thank you very much for Dennis from CSA for letting us talk about this machine as well. Another tube bender, loads of stuff here. Oh, there we go, Elliot. Almost knocked into me. Yeah, really, really interesting stuff to see here. It's really serious tools, those on the end. I can imagine they take a hell of a lot of machining and polishing. Oh, we got some threads here as well that are going on the tube. So really interesting forms on the tooling here. Yeah, nice to see some pretty heavy duty machinery. It's nice with tube bending machines as well because there's no covers on them. You can kind of just see the raw machinery moving around. Okay. I'm going a little bit around here. We've now got a demo from a guy called Jacko, who's very kindly said he's going to show us what this tool does. Hello, Jacko. Which part of the process are we in now?
Actually, we have not started the process yet.
Okay, so you've not started the process. You're going to do a drill, and what are you going to make? You're going to make these things, aren't they? They're
Yes.
They're outlets for butt welds, basically.
Yes,
and what kind of I guess industry would this pipe be used in?
this would be used for mainly, I would say, any stainless steel.
Okay, it's stainless steel. So any stainless steel tubing.
Is huge for us.
What's huge for you? Sorry.
HVAC.
HVAC, cool. So HVAC, so ventilation in buildings. The reason I'm trying to repeat quickly is we don't have an extra microphone. So thank you very much for telling us. So mostly for HVAC, really big for new buildings. There's so much construction going on. Let's see the demo. Cool, so they've got a T-drill. It's really loud, it's gonna be really loud this. There's 3 steps. First they're gonna build a pilot hole and then they're gonna trim it down. So first is the pilot hole, then they'll put a slot in, they'll mill a slot using the T-drill. Whoa, there we go, nice. Yeah, and it's there's quite a lot of smoke coming out of that process. I guess being stainless steel, that's quite a tough material to cut. Really interesting that they're making these outlet holes as well. I guess this is kind of distributing a ventilation system, distributing gas pressure around a room.
So
there we go. So now they've made a pilot hole. Yep.
So that we can insert our...
Oh, brilliant. They can insert, yeah, this tool. Sorry, I'm repeating you, Jacko. I'm trying to make sure that our viewers can hear.
So we call this coloring.
So they call it a coloring tool. Colouring tool. Ah, cool. So you've already milled the slot already with that tool, haven't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So now we can fit this.
So now they can fit the colouring tool in, and this is going to do the second part of the 3-step process. Oh no, sorry, this is the 3rd step in the process.
This is now the second.
This is, the second step in the process. Stick the colouring tool in, tighten it down, set it up. I guess that's setting the zeros, and then you have an automated process.
Yeah,
and the machine does all of the work. So all you're doing is holding down a lever, engaging the tool. This non-linear guideways is being controlled from this machine down here at the bottom. And wow, look at that, it's moving the material. I won't go too close. Moving the material, making it, yeah, as it's softening the material, yeah, moving it, and it's forming it into this outlet. Really interesting demonstration how you make these kinds of outlets manually, even though they look really nice and regular. What's next, Jacko? Next. So yeah, he's going to plane it down. So this is going to take the face off, since we have like an uneven face on the butt welds. You want to make sure it's nicely faced off so the welding can happen nicely. Oh, we're shaving off the top. Nice one. Again, in Taiwan, I love how we've got machinery like this being used on the shop floor. It's interesting the kind of the cover choice that they've used. Again, it's really good for seeing what's happening. And yeah, it's a really interesting way of showing off the machinery. We've got this little piece of plastic in front of this big drill doing some serious cutting. And again, this is all an automated process. Since this has been programmed on these linear guideways, the machine is doing a lot of the work for Jacko, which is really nice to see. Really interesting. And I guess when it comes to making these are probably quite hard to make these holes in a factory and then ship them out to the building, the skyscraper they're going to be used in. Brilliant. They want to be done in situ. Thank you very much, Jacko. What have we got there? We've got a really nice butt weld ready to go for HVAC. Perfect. And this will be done in situ in the building that's being constructed.
Yes, all of that.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Jacko. Appreciate it. Give us a fist bump. Ta-da! Cool. So really interesting. In situ, you want to clamp the drill around the tube that you're going to be installing. I guess you'll clamp it while you're on the floor in the building you're going to be doing the construction in. Do your butt welds, and then you've got some HVAC. Okay, moving on. One of the last stands we'll be doing here at TIMTOS 2025. We've got a laser machine here where most of the components here are built in Taiwan, made in Taiwan, apart from the control system. Now, I think the man was called Lou, the sales director here at Tail Lift. And he was saying that all the components here are made in Taiwan except the control system, which is FANUC. And he said the result of that is you get a really stable laser machine with good quality components at a really reasonable cost, built in Taiwan. But because they chose to partner with FANUC for the motors, the drives, the amplifiers, and the control system, the laser machine is super reliable, super accurate, and very well controlled, as you would expect from any machinery with FANUC automation, FANUC controls and drives on it. So really, really nice. They're doing a little a snake profile example here. Really, really nice. And I came here just because I thought there's some really nice examples of laser cut objects they've done here on the machinery. They've got some really, really thick material. So they've got 75 millimeters in S50C, which is pretty thick. That's 60 kilowatt laser with a O2 gas involved, and then down to some really nice objects here, just showing off the best of their sheet metal fabrication. Okay, so we've tried to show you as much as we can as the TWTC hall here. It's been an absolutely packed week for MTD CNC here at TIMTOS 2025 in Taipei. And we've seen so much there's so much still yet to see. We've only just scratched the surface here. Hopefully when we come back 2 years from now, there'll be TIMTOS 2027. We'll hopefully have an even bigger team here to bring you even more coverage. So that's it. It's Rowan and Elliot, the trusty cameraman, signing off. This is our last live here from TIMTOS 2025 in Taipei, Taiwan.